Hello YouTube and welcome back to the Silver Swanner channel. This is the 11th video in my US typeset series, and today we'll be adding a Flying Eagle scent to the typeset. This particular Flying Eagle scent was produced in 1858. It was designed by John Longacre and it was produced for only 2 years. Now, coincidentally, if you remember from last week's video, John Longacre was also the designer of the gold dollar coin that we added to the typeset last week. Some very interesting history, though, as I continued to research these older coins that I'm not familiar with. The Flying Eagle cent was the first of the small cents. It was a little bit thicker than the penny today that features Lincoln and the shield on the back, but it was the same diameter. And it was born out of necessity that the mint had to produce the small cent and transition off of producing the large cent. And the reason for that was seigniorage, or that's just a fancy word for how the mint basically would profit off of the value of the difference between the face value of the coin and the cost to produce, in addition to the cost of the metals to make said coin. So by the mid-1850s, it was becoming clear that it was costing the mint more to produce the large cent, and they subsequently came up with proposals to make a small cent. Congress approved the authorization to make the small cent, and the Flying Eagle cent was put into production. Now, one of the really interesting things that I learned about the cents in general was that while they were produced by the mint to facilitate commerce and trade, it was actually not legal tender in the United States. So what I mean by that is if you went to your treasurer or your tax collector's office to pay your taxes, you could only pay your taxes in gold and silver. So isn't that different from today where we pay mainly in paper dollars? So, like I said, the Flying Eagle cent was only produced for 2 years. Ultimately, its demise proved to be its design. The large eagle and the wreath on the reverse clashed with each other, and it made it hard for the mint to produce well-struck examples of the Flying Eagle cent, and thus after only 2 years of mintage, it was replaced by the Indian head cent, which was produced for almost 50 years, and we'll discuss in a future video. So, as always, at the end of this video, I will throw up pictures of the progress of the album so far. I will share with you my costs up to this point. And finally, I am doing a giveaway, so I'll go ahead and leave a link to that up here where you can go ahead and subscribe to my channel. You can leave a comment in that video and you can join a giveaway for a silver quarter. So that being said, let me take you in and let's get to adding this coin to the book. Welcome back, everybody. As always, we have the Red Book out here. This is a pretty short entry in the Red Book because, like I said in my introduction, the Flying Eagle was only produced for 2 years, 1857 and 1858. Although if I bring in close here, you will notice that there was an 1856, which was the pattern coin. So as the mint was trying to get authorization to produce the Flying Eagle, they did produce 2,000 of the pattern coins that they circulated to Congress and other high-level government figures. And so you can see corresponding to the price for the 1856 are quite expensive. This is an 1858. It is an 1858 small letters. And we'll go back to the conditions here, and then we'll get back to the prices for what I think this one would potentially be worth. So it says here, for good, all details worn but readable. In this case, I definitely think that all the details are readable. You can see the date. You can see United States of America around the rim. You can see 1 cent. You can read that. The wreath seems to have some decent detail, so it's definitely good. Very good then is details in eagle feathers and eye evident but worn. And if we get this real close here, you can see that I think you can definitely see the eye. You can see some detail in the feathers there. So I would call this definitely very good. A VG8. Fine then is eagle head details and feather tips sharp. And I don't think that the feather tips are sharp enough here to qualify as fine. So we're going to rate this a VG8. And the red book then says for VG8 for an 1858 small letters that the cost then is going to be about $40 or so. And that's a give or take cost again with a red book. You know, this is a book. It doesn't update its prices real time. So always take that with a grain of salt. That being said, let's go ahead and add the Flying Eagle scent to the book here. And if you remember from last week, we went to the gold page. So now we're going in order for all of our future pages. So that's why we're returning to the front and doing the Flying Eagle scent. So there it is outside of the holder. And again, I think you can really see the eye detail there. You can see some of the details of the feathers. I think some of these feather edges, I don't think are quite as sharp again to be fine 12. That's why we're going to go ahead and say this is about a VG8. And again, there is the reverse. The one interesting thing about the Flying Eagle scents is that while the diameter, is the same as our modern scents, the thickness of the coin is slightly larger on the Flying Eagle. And I think kind of just looking at that, even though you're looking at it through a screen, you can kind of see where that thickness is a little different. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this added to the typeset then. It's a little tricky to get in here, so I want to be gentle with this because I know that we've busted out the back of the book before. There we go. Just had to be patient with it. Perfect. All right, so let me throw some pictures up on screen of the album progress so far, and finally I will share with you what I paid for this Flying Eagle scent. And here are the updated album photos. If anyone has suggestions for how to reduce the glare or a good coin microscope, please leave that in the comments below. And here are my updated running costs. I paid $10 for the Flying Eagle. So looking at the sold listings on eBay and the Red Book, I think I got a very good deal for a VG8 Flying Eagle. Obviously, I didn't pay any shipping for this, so that brings my total cost for the coins to $673.20. I paid $18.51 in shipping for a grand total of $691.71.